Thank you for visiting my YouTube channel Historical Rifles. In today's episode we will check out the Hungarian 35M rifle, which was also called Puska 35M, and as I read and as I understood, the word Puska is simply the Hungarian word for rifle. The 35M was the successor to the 31M, and the 31M was more or less a standardized Mannlicher straight pull carbine M95 when they adopted the 8x56 rimmed Spitze cartridge. And when we go into the details of the 35M, we will see that it does have some designs which are left over from the old Mannlicher M95 straight pull rifle. So let's have a closer look. As always, we will start at the front. Here we can see the front sight, which is a, I would say, a rather standard dovetail driftable triangle-shaped front sight. It has a complete protecting ring, which does have some advantages and also some disadvantages. The obvious advantage is that it has some very good protection against mechanical impacts, like if you bump into something with the front sight. The disadvantage is that in situations where the light is not very good, in low light conditions for example, this ring does take away some of the remaining light, and this might make aiming a little bit more difficult. Okay, then let's move on to the bayonet lock. Here we have the bayonet lock, which is a rather unusual design if you ask me. What is interesting is this could be unscrewed and be replaced by a stacking rod for units which didn't have any bayonets issued. And in my opinion, and I also heard it on another channel, it does have some resemblance of the Lebel, French Lebel system. Then let's move on to the stock. It has a top wooden stock, which is really great, so you don't burn your fingers. It doesn't go to the very end. Here is a small part which is unstocked, but in my opinion this is not a problem. The most important parts are covered by a wooden stock. Here we have finger grooves. Finger grooves, in my opinion, are always a good idea, so that you find the correct position very fast. Then we have here a barrel band. This barrel band has two options to mount the sling, either here using the sling bar, I can turn it a little bit, or you have a sling swivel here at the bottom. You have the same options at the buttstock. You have here a sling swivel at the bottom, and also here a sling bar, which is mounted on the receiver ring. And I think this is actually a great design to have both options to mount the sling. So we have one single rifle with both mounting options, so it could be carried over the shoulder and over the back. So in my opinion, this is a good way to standardize your infantry rifle, your main rifle. So then let's move on to the rear sight. It's a tangent rear sight, graduated from 100 to 2000 meters. What I like is that it started to graduate at 100. Most rifles and carbines of that time started at 200, 300, and I think I can remember I even saw some that started at 400. And this is, in my opinion, not a good idea, because then you would have to aim lower at short distances. And when you start to graduate it at 100, the rifle or carbine can be used a lot more efficient at shorter distances. To change the range, just push the button here, slide it forward for increased range, slide it backwards for decreased range. It has a, I would say, a standard V-notch. I will try to get you a side picture, which is not always that easy because of the focus of the camera. I think you get the idea. Then I would say, let's check out some of the markings we have here. BP, which is for Budapest. Then we have a small Hungarian national crest, N38, and this is an acceptance mark and says it was accepted by Budapest in the year 1938. And here we have the serial number. And on the receiver ring we have Budapest written, although it was actually manufactured by FEG, but all weapons manufactured by FEG were always marked with Budapest. And we have the model here, 35M. So this makes it a rather, I would say, early rifle. You can also see this by the buttstock. Earlier variants, I think if I remember correctly, until the year 1940, I think, used the sling swivel here at the bottom. I think that later variants had here a cutout very similar to the German design. So then let's come to the action. This is a turn bolt action, which looks like more or less, I would say, a standard Mannlicher turn bolt action with the usual split receiver bridge. It had a straight bolt handle. To operate it, open the bolt like this. Then you can see into the integral magazine, which is also, in my opinion, a design left over from the old Mannlicher M95 design. To load it, you use N-block clips. They look like this. Those are exactly the same which are used by the Mannlicher M95 straight pull system. And this used or was chambered for the new 8x56 rimmed Spitze cartridge. You can still buy this kind of ammunition rather easily. I think, if I remember correctly, it is manufactured by PPU, and I think also S&B is currently manufacturing this one. In this case, it's a full metal jacket variant. To load it, just put it here into the N-block clip, slide it down, and you repeat the same 4 times. Then you have a fully loaded N-block clip. Those are naturally, as you can see, dummy rounds. They have no primers, no powder, so we can play around for safety reasons. And you simply slide it in like this. It is a directional end block clip, so you cannot put it into this direction. Always make sure that the cutout is at, oh sorry, the cutout is at the top. Slide it in here, push it down, and it will get locked with a spring in the magazine, and then you simply close it and you're ready to fire. What I do like is that it has a cocking piece here, which from the design point of view is also a leftover from the old straight pull rifles. I think it looks pretty much the same, or maybe it is exactly the same. And what is a great feature is you could actually decock the rifle. Just hold it, pull the trigger, and let it slide forward slowly. The rifle is decocked. But you could also cock it like this. It is cocked again and ready to fire. We have a flag safety system, which is also used in quite a bit of Mannlicher designs. It has two positions. Left is firing position, right is safe position. It only has two positions and not three, like some of the Mauser designs. I think it works actually very well. And I think we will decock the rifle again. To unload the rifle, you open the bolt, and you have here a button to eject the M block clip. Always make sure to put your hand here because it gets ejected like this, and you could then reload partly fired clips, or you can also put the same one in again. Close the bolt. What is interesting, this is a cock on close bolt, meaning that it will get cocked when you close the bolt and not when you opened it, like most of the later Mauser designs. And when you have fired the last round, or rather when you chamber the last round, the empty end block clip will get ejected. Oh, in this case it's a little bit stuck. It's also not a problem. It will get pushed out with the next clip. If you put in the next clip, the old one will get pushed out at the bottom, and you're ready to be fired again. Let's unload it. Also, those are also naturally dummy rounds. So let's decock it. What is also rather unusual is that it has a split stock. Most rifles of that time had a single stock. This one had a two-piece stock, and it has here a receiver ring where those two parts are held together. And here at the back it has a metal butt plate with a huge serial number on it. As you can see, this is a matching rifle. Those are, I would say, extremely rare, as we all know, Hungary lost World War II, and this rifle was used, for example, extensively in Operation Barbarossa in Russia, and I think most of them were used up and later replaced by the successor, the 43M, which we will do a video on at a later time. So finding a matching one in a good condition is very, very difficult nowadays. and honestly, I was really lucky to find this. And I also got a bayonet. Those are also quite rare. It's also in a quite good condition. This one is also called the 35M model. It looks like this. It's a sword bayonet, and in my opinion it has a very interesting mechanism to mount it. You have this hole here, and this hole has to fit here into the bayonet lock, and the release button is located here, and here you would slide it onto the end of the barrel. And we will try this now. Sometimes those can be a little bit sticky. Whoops. So, but that's it. It's mounted on the rifle. And to unmount it, you press this button. Oops, slide it off again. It's a little bit sticky, as already mentioned, but it still works after all this time. So honestly, I'm quite proud to have this rifle and also to have a bayonet. And both are in a really good condition. So, some closing words on this rifle. Generally, I think that Hungarian rifles are not mentioned very often compared to, for example, I don't know, German rifles, French rifles, US rifles. But I think those have some very interesting designs. When we do a video on the 43M, sorry, we will see that it is also again based on this design and had some new designs mixed into it. And honestly, I think those worked absolutely fantastic and don't get the recognition they deserve. For example, the action is very smooth. Also, putting in the clip is extremely smooth. It's almost unbelievably smooth. It's made, in my opinion, of very high quality, which you might not guess when you think about Hungary in World War II. But the quality is actually fantastic, if you ask me. So it's a really, I would say, high quality, great design, easy to understand for soldiers. For example, here you can, didn't show you before, by pushing this lever, you could get out the bolt assembly, which is also, I would say, a very often used design on the Mannlicher rifles. So overall, it is a fantastic design. If you get a chance to pick one up, although chances are rather low, I would say, you should definitely get this, as those are really rare in my opinion, and even rarer in good condition and matching condition. So I'm really happy to have this in my collection. So that's pretty much it about this rifle. I will soon do a video on the successor, the 43M. I hope you enjoyed my content. If you like what I do, please be so kind and give me a like and maybe subscribe to my channel. Please also comment if you have any questions. I will try to answer any comment which I receive. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye.